I don't know about you, but there is a lot of information coming our way as we prepare for a new year as business owners. It is time to think about 2025. And I'm not here to overwhelm you with all of the planning things, but I sat down and I was thinking the other day, if we were in a room together and you were looking to scale your business to the six-figure mark in 2025, what would I want to share with you? So today I want to dive into 5 things that I would love to tell you if you are ready to grow your business in the new year.
This is the Authentic Brand Builders Podcast with Michelle Knight.
Welcome back, my friend, to another episode of the Authentic Brand Builders Podcast. A quick reminder to you, if you are tuning in with your ears, we do have video content over on the Brand Mary YouTube channel. You can check it out at brandmary.com/YouTube. But sometimes I find that it's just so helpful to have somebody speaking directly to you. And this is something my clients have been telling me a lot with my training videos. So I just wanted to remind you in case you didn't already know. The chances that you are listening to this episode tell me that you are ready to expand your business in 2025. You have already created maybe consistency in terms of your revenue, or you feel really solid in terms of your brand and having your website up and running, and you are ready to take that next step. And I know there's a lot of information on how to plan for the new year and how to structure your business and all of those different things. I've got tons of resources here at Brand Mary and some cool videos coming out for you soon. But I wanted to take a bit of a different approach and actually just share 5 super strategic things that I would love you to implement in the new year rather than questions to ask yourself and, reflections and all of that. I think there's definitely a time and a place for that, but full on freaking strategy. What are 5 very specific things that you want to have in place in order to get to that 6-figure mark or beyond as a business owner? So we are going to get right into it with number 1. And I really can't stress enough how simple this is to implement and how impactful it is for your brand. It is one of the things that I believe has the highest ROI when it comes to marketing, because when you do it correctly, it really pays off for years and years to come. I am talking about SEO, but I'm specifically talking about your site-wide SEO. Now, if you're not familiar, I teach various forms of SEO here inside of my membership, the Academy. But the one I'm really talking about right now is site-wide SEO. That is SEO that is for your website specifically. And I'm assuming if you're watching this video and you are ready to scale to the next mark, you have a website, because it absolutely is crucial, and it just makes the process of selling to your potential clients so much easier. Like if you have a website to send people to where they can get everything that they need about you, about your brand, about your core messaging, about your offers, about your structure, about your pricing, like everything is there, it makes the process of selling so much easier. So that's just kind of like a little side note. I'm not going to include it in my 5, but you absolutely want to have a website, even just a bare bone basic website with strong, amazing messaging and a few photos can pay off so much for your business. This site-wide SEO maximizes the reach of your website by telling Google exactly how to categorize your website. And when you're thinking of site-wide SEO, you want to think about what someone is typing into your website when they are ready to make a purchase decision. I'll go ahead and link, if you're watching on YouTube, a video all about the customer buying journey. This is truly the foundation of everything that I teach inside of the Academy when it comes to marketing your business. But there are different stages of the buying journey and different stages in which someone might discover you, from just having symptoms and problems to actually being ready to spend their money on a solution. That spend your money on a solution phase is exactly who you want to target with SEO. The reason for that is because those are the people that are going to Google and they're typing in branding coach, or physical therapist near me, or acupuncturist, or family photographer. They know exactly what they're looking for and they are ready to invest. And if you can play your cards right with site-wide SEO, then you can get there and rank on page 1, which is just going to drive super targeted traffic to your website, which means there's way less convincing that needs to happen, way less consuming of content that needs to happen to make a purchase decision, because that person already knows what they're looking for. And Honestly, there are so many entrepreneurs that do not have proper site-wide SEO implemented. And if you do it correctly, it can take you maybe in 90 minutes to do the research, implement it on your website, and then pay off for years and years to come. So hands down, if I'm thinking about this in a really strategic way, these are the 5 things. Week 1 of 2025, I would be doing this on every freaking website that I owned and allowing that to start to work for you and building the credibility that you want with Google to rank higher on the platform. Now, there are a lot of different strategies that can also boost that or make that happen a lot faster. I worked with a client it was the beginning of this year. Wow, I'm already in 2025. I worked with a client this year who had a brand new website, and we set up her site-wide SEO with her site title, her site description, her headers, being really cautious of putting her keywords in the text itself. And then we also rolled out a blog strategy. And the blog strategy was really helpful because we pulled those keywords into content, telling Google that we were ultimately really serious about these keywords and that we were credible and that we were talking about the things that we, said we were talking about. And we saw her site and her blogs start ranking for keywords like burnout, like very, very big markets. But she was already having this ranking happening, and traffic, although it was a trickle at first, of course, that's only going to snowball over time. So adding in that content component can really help skyrocket those results and get you ranked a lot faster. This was only in a couple of months that she was experiencing this with a brand new site. These are things that I teach inside of the academy if you are wanting to take that a step further. But number 1, definitely make sure that the SEO on your website is optimized. And again, you don't have to have a fancy website. You don't have to have a website that you hired a graphic designer for, although all amazing. You can start with very simple website templates. Squarespace is my favorite. And then just go that extra step and optimize it for SEO. You can always update your copy. You can always update your photos. I'm updating my stuff all the time. But my site-wide SEO is still paying off for me almost 6 years later in my business. Okay? Number 2, if I were looking to scale my business in 2025, if I wasn't already doing this, I would absolutely put emphasis on an evergreen marketing platform. And I talk about this a lot on the podcast and on my YouTube channel and just pretty much everywhere because I'm a huge advocate for evergreen platforms. But at the end of the day, the reality is that so many creators are getting burnt out because of the grind that comes with social media. And I've moved on. I'm not anti-social media. I'm not even hating on it anymore. I'm just sharing the truth, like the honest truth, that you might get into an amazing cycle for 90 days and then you're like, I need a dang break. Well, what happens when you take those breaks? Your reach goes down. You're not getting as much engagement. Your traffic probably dwindles. And that's what's going to happen. Like, I don't care what you do. It's most likely going to happen unless you have a giant team. So how can you support yourself as a small business owner, as a solopreneur? You can embrace an evergreen platform. Now, the reason evergreen platforms work so well is 1, they're most likely going to be SEO platforms, meaning that you can use proper research for that platform to get your content seen by new people. So platforms like Pinterest, which I talk about a lot, teach inside of the academy, platforms like blogging, obviously, which are going to use Google, YouTube, podcasting, which again is going to use Google and podcasting platforms. These are all places where you're saying, this is what my content is. This is who my content is for. You're able to look at data that says, ooh, you could rank with these keywords, or these keywords are going to be harder. And you can be more strategic with the naming of your content. So obviously, I said at the beginning that this is a podcast episode for audio platforms. I'm also going to release it on YouTube, and I also am going to turn it into a blog post. So I'm doing very specific SEO research on each of those platforms to find out, what can I call this video to get the most bang for my buck? I'm not going into creating this video super stressed out and worried about SEO. I know that I can use my data to put the right title on it that's going to allow me to get in front of people. And that is incredibly powerful. But then there's this other piece of it, this evergreen piece of it, that just means it's going to keep working. It's going to keep working long after I post the content. We're seeing this here at Brand Mary, which is why I feel like I can't stop talking about it. But I have a video that I posted 4 years ago, I think, on market research, and it has over 10,000 views. And when I first posted it, it had probably like 100 views, 100 views for a really long time. But because of how SEO works and because how trends work and how, the market works, that content is going to live there forever. And if that is a search term that starts to skyrocket, guess whose video is going to show up? And the more that you can embrace an evergreen platform like this, the more sustainable your marketing strategy is going to be. And like I mentioned before, and I'm just a huge believer that it's a heck of a lot easier for me to create a video like this or a podcast episode like this, doing it at the same time, than it is for me to sit down and do 7 days worth of social media content. Not to mention, I can take this exact content and I can turn it into social media content so easily using AI tools. And so if you are looking to scale, really embracing an evergreen platform and being freaking serious about it and prioritizing it is going to help you so much if you feel like you're on this constant content hamster wheel and you've noticed that when you stop, so does the traffic, so do the leads, so does the revenue. And when you can embrace an evergreen strategy, just one platform consistently can pay off tremendously. And when you can do this, you're going to notice that you don't experience those crazy dips like you maybe did before. Number 3, embrace video content like crazy. Now, I don't really care how you're using video content, but you got to be using video content. Number 1, it's going to make your life so much easier. And I know you're like, no, it's not, Michelle, because I have to record it. I have to edit it. The lighting has to be perfect. No, like that's not true anymore. Gone are the days of like crazy transitions and overly edited videos. And I had someone reach out to me recently that said, what camera are you using? How are you recording your content? This is a webcam and I'm recording directly in Descript. I literally sit down, hit record, turn my light on, and I knock out a piece of content in under 45 minutes. And then I use AI to edit my content. Specifically, I use Descript, which I've talked about a lot. But the same goes for like short form video. Really raw, behind the scenes footage, you talking straight to camera, this stuff is working and it's working so well. But people, I think, are still really hung up. And look, I've been there too. I've been there too. With it being perfect or with it being curated or with it being highly edited, but that is just not what's performing anymore. It just isn't what is performing. You can see it. Get on social media, scroll on Reels, scroll on TikTok, scroll on YouTube Shorts, look on your YouTube channel, you know what I mean? Go on Pinterest, look at video, wherever you're consuming your video content. You will see that I am right. And it is great. It's amazing for us because it's going to make your life so much easier. But with that, you've got to fully embrace it. You've got to embrace the crap out of it. And you have to be using it to your advantage. You need to be going live. You need to be showing behind the scenes. You need to be making short form video of you talking directly to the camera. You need to be recording B-roll for yourself, maybe even once a month that you can put text overlay. If you're really serious about the evergreen that I talked about before, get your butt on YouTube. Number 1, it's going to make your life so much easier because you can repurpose the crap out of it. You can plug that video into an AI tool like Opus Clip and you can splice it up into a bunch of smaller videos. You can take that short form video that you put on Instagram Reels and put it on YouTube with some SEO. The possibilities are truly endless, but we're not going to see video slowing down. It's only going to continue to rise. And if you are looking to scale, this is the fastest way to scale. And I've been talking about video for years, not short form video because it wasn't around, but I was talking about the power of video back in 2016 when I recognized how powerful it was for my brand. And when I started to get into storytelling, I realized, well, duh, it makes sense because video is a form of storytelling. It is you, your face on camera, talking directly to someone, your audience. It's a great way for someone to get to know you quickly. They get to see your behavior, your tone of voice, your expressions. I mean, y'all, I'm like doing a dance with my hands. By the time I finish this video, I'm going to log like 3,000 steps. But you get to know what it's like to learn from me. You get to know what it's like to be part of my world. You get to see how I deliver information and content. And right away, it's 100 times more effective than reading a caption. And so again, this is all about scaling. But if I were you and I were looking to grow my business in 2025, scale my business in 2025, I would fully be embracing video. And if you are embracing video right now, think about how you can dial it up a notch. If you're already super consistent, love ya. On Instagram and posting a lot of reels, are you putting those on another platform to expand your reach? If not, do it now. All right, number 4 is to think very strategically about your ideal customer's journey. Now, again, I kind of touched on this, but there are essentially 5 stages of the buying process from I've got some symptoms. Oh, I know my problem. Oh, that's my solution. Oh, we're shopping around. Oh, I know exactly who I want to buy from. That's it in a nutshell. And someone, your ideal customer, can find you at any stage of that process. It doesn't change that they're ideal customer for you. Like an entrepreneur who is ready to build a 6-figure business might find me when they're really struggling to figure out why their messaging isn't converting. They don't even really know what it is. They're in the symptom phase to like, they know exactly what they need and they're ready to pay me. And so what's going to help you scale is thinking about what those stages are for your ideal customer and what can support them along the way. Because not only can content help them move through the buying process, which is incredibly powerful and helps you sell without actually having to sell, right? But also your products. And when you're thinking about this and you're thinking about this in the new year, I really see, and I know a lot of people have been talking about this too, course creators, there's a shift happening where one-to-one was so prominent and big, and that's how everyone was making their money, to low-priced offers, to course creation. And I think as we're moving into 2025, it's going to be a beautiful mix of them. But the thing that you want to like pinpoint is how do those fit in the client buying journey? So one of the things that we've recognized here at Brand Mary over the last few years is content creation is a really big in for my clients. That people will discover me, and content creation is a universal truth for pretty much all of them. And if I can create more content around content creation and the process of content creation with my spin on it, which of course is storytelling and authenticity and using these amazing SEO tools, then I'm able to really support my client at the various stages. And content beautifully leads into solidifying your brand. It beautifully leads into advancing your marketing. It beautifully leads into getting one-to-one support. And so if you're thinking about kind of your offer suite or your stack in 2025, a really strategic thing to do is going to be, okay, well, what does my client go through? What are they thinking at each of these stages? And looking at either your existing offers or seeing if there are gaps that you can kind of fill. So if you have a one-to-one service, and let's say your one-to-one service is nervous system regulation, big fan. If you primarily focus on one-on-one with this, that's amazing. And I love that. That's probably more of a high ticket offer for you. Let's say that someone is new to this world and they're not quite ready. They don't have enough of the pull to invest in that higher package. Offering them a micro look at one of the modalities or one of the strategies that you teach in a lower priced course or a, low ticket offer will get them to dip their toe into your world, get them results because it's micro specific, and they will be more likely to move into the higher packaged program. And that is, I believe, going to be really key as we move into the new year. I'm a huge advocate for the idea that one offer grows your entire business, but there's just so many people doing so many things online today that there's so many different offers that if someone loves what you're saying and absolutely loves you, but they're not ready for that investment, they're going to go find somebody that is offering them something that's going to help them at that first initial stage because they're just not freaking there yet. And no matter how much you want them to be there, they have to go through the process. Everybody has to go through the process. So the more that you can strategically set up your offers, the better off you are going to be. And this is honestly something I'm embracing as well because I've been around for 8 years now, almost 9 years as an entrepreneur. I've generated almost $2 million. I've done it all. I've done the one single one-to-one offer. I've done a focus on courses. I've done primarily group program. And I am, as we move into this new year, and what I've been doing behind the scenes is setting my business up to make sure that if you find me at that very first stage, I've got something for you. I've got something for you in terms of my free content and in terms of my paid low priced offer content that's going to bring you into my brand. It's going to get you results and going to keep you sticking around, because that's ultimately the goal. Strategy number 5, you absolutely need to be focusing on building trust. In the past month, I have talked to advertising experts. I have my dear friend Jody coming on. She's a marketing expert. And I've just been talking to so many people in this world, receiving emails from people that I look up to, and everyone is saying the exact dang thing. Selling isn't like it was in 2020 and 2021. That was a peak. It was an anomaly because of what was happening in the world. And a lot of people came into the scene in 20 and 2021, and maybe they had monstrous years, but we've all noticed that the way consumers buy is incredibly different. It has shifted, and trust isn't there. Probably because there's so many people online just saying a bunch of crap that isn't relevant. And we've got the introduction of AI tools, which obviously everyone hella skeptical because who knows what's real and what's not. You gotta build trust. And the fastest way to build trust is going to be storytelling. It's going to be storytelling. Because the second that someone can see who you are at your core, they can pick up on those values. They feel like they know you. We talked about that with video marketing. You differentiate yourself by doing magic in their brain. And this is what I talk about inside of storytelling. I have a bunch of digital storytelling and brand storytelling videos and podcast episodes, but we talk about neurocoupling and releasing dopamine and all these different things that the effect of storytelling has. You are going to find that it's a heck of a lot easier to market if you really embrace this micro detail to your content creation. If you really ask yourself before you post anything, any video, any podcast, any email, any social media post, any reel, is there an element of storytelling? And it's not just the storytelling that you say, it's also the nonverbal storytelling as well, the behind the scenes video, as I mentioned before. Pretty much everything I've talked about really leads to this one tip, if I'm thinking about it. If we don't embrace that and we keep buying into the idea that we just have to post one thing and suddenly we'll make millions of dollars, or we can use AI to generically write all of our copy and we don't have to edit it or incorporate or ooze any of our authenticity into it, I think you're really going to find that selling in 2025 is going to be harder than hell. And maybe you've even felt it. I know so many people that have. I've noticed a huge shift as well. Lucky for me, I love storytelling, but I can tell when I pull back on my storytelling, there's a huge shift in the amount of clients that I sign. And it's just another reminder to me that this has to be a priority. I have to prioritize storytelling, because otherwise people are just swiping through and they're just they're saying the same thing as everybody else. I already heard this. I can watch 5 videos on this. What makes it different? It's that personality. It's that storytelling. And again, if you're here at Brand Mary, I've got your back. This has been my specialty since 2016. I have so many podcasts that I've been on where I talk about this, so much more to come. And this is what we focus on inside of the Academy. When my clients come to me for our group calls and they're saying all right, I'm struggling with my messaging, or people aren't converting, or what do you think about this sales page? I always am looking for opportunities for storytelling because it is so crucial. So again, focus heavily on storytelling and showcasing your personality and your authenticity. It doesn't mean you can't use AI. I've been using it a lot to help me with my content, and especially on Instagram. And every time I'm reading it, I'm just asking myself that question: how can I put more storytelling into this? Doesn't have to be that crazy complicated. And the more that you do it, the easier it truly becomes. So it's really about focusing on building trust, integrating those storytelling aspects into your content, and differentiating yourself. The last thing I'll say here as well is providing value never goes out of style. And I know there was a period of time this year, especially I know on my TikTok feed, that everyone was educational content is dead. Bullshit. Not true. Not true at all. Educational content is what helps you at those beginning stages of the buying process. Educational content is what lets people know that your way of describing things is exactly how they need to hear it. Educational content fills the missing gap for so many people, but there is a strategic way to do it. And it can't just be a how to do this with no integration or oozing of your personality and your storytelling and your methodology. Because that kind of stuff I can pick up on AI. If you want to grow your business, these are the 5 areas that you absolutely want to focus on in setting yourself up for success. So whether you sit down and you say, okay, first week of January, week 1, I'm going to do this, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, or you start putting these pieces in place now, auditing what you've got going on and seeing what's possible for you. I put together a limited time training just for you. If you want to check it out, you go to brandmary.com/2025. I know. Do I love that I'm using that in my marketing? I'm not sure yet because I don't even want to think about it, if we're being honest. But you can go to brandmary.com/2025. It's an on-demand training that you can check out. It's 5 ways to improve your marketing before the new year. It's going to be available for a limited time, and then I'm going to take it down. So make sure you grab that, brandmary.com/2025. That's going to give you some additional details and additional kind of behind the scenes of how to integrate some of these pieces. And there's some additional things on there as well that are going to be incredibly beautiful for you. I said additional like 5 times, but what can I say? It's additional. Thank you so much for joining me with this week's episode. Don't forget to come over to YouTube, say hi, let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you or if you have any questions or takeaways, and subscribe while you're there because I've got new training videos and behind the scenes videos that are really going to help you. I have a new one coming out that's going to show you my full recording setup. If you don't have a team, you're going to want to watch this video. It's coming out really, really soon. I will be back with another podcast episode soon. Have an amazing week. Bye.